Build-A-Bot.
Hello, LEGO Transformers fans. This is Soundbox with another episode of Build-A-Bot. Today, we're looking at Starscream. Actually, this is Starscream Advanced. My very first video was about Starscream. However, I had revamped him over time, so this is a newer version of Starscream. But today, we're going to learn how to build him. So we start off with quite a few pieces here. We got a lot of grays, reds, and a couple darker grays. So the idea with Starscream was getting the colors right. With these Seekers, they're very color oriented, so you want to make sure that their color schemes are recognizable. So we have many slope pieces here. We have a gray half slope. We have two red full slopes. Then we have these little Technic hookup pieces that are two flat stud pieces with a loop on the bottom of one. And we got three of those. We got a pin, a blue pin to connect them. That pin seems better. It's not as tough as the black ones. And it's not as loose as other ones. And you can see we have a bunch of single stud pieces, a black, a blue, a gray. And we have a bunch of two stud pieces and a couple circular one stud pieces. So let's get into this build. We start off by taking the one stud black piece, the one stud gray piece, the one stud blue piece, and the half slope gray piece, plus that little two stud with the loop hinge on the bottom, and a two stud flat piece. We're going to hook the two stud flat piece to underneath the gray half slope. Then we're going to hook that loop piece to it. This will be the nose cone. Next, we'll hook the light blue square to the gray square and attach that to our current built apparatus. And finally, we'll put the black piece on. And the nose cone is pretty much complete. Next, we need to connect the nose cone to the body. To do this, we'll take the other two of those hinge pieces and the pin. We'll plug the Technic pin in. It's a 3-length pin into one of the hinge pieces. Then we'll run it through the back of the nose cone piece and then hook the last hinge piece to it. And now we have the nose cone on the hinges. Next, we'll flip that over and take the two round one stud pieces, and we'll connect them to the bottom of those hinge pieces. Then we'll flip it back over. Next, we'll take the ball joint on a two stud piece and connect it to the underneath of the red curved piece. We will do that for the other side as well. Then we're going to take our gray one stud pieces, and as you can see, I have two different colors here. One is a light gray, one's a dark gray. Ideally, you want the same color. So we put the one stud square piece on one of the studs of the hinge, and then a red two stud plate on the other stud of the hinge. And now we hook the curved piece on. And the way you do this is you put it on so the ball joint piece is covering the two studs of the hinge, and there's a little overlap where the bottom of the curved piece sticks out the top. This will be the exhaust intake, and it'll be those little exhaust intakes that come up on the side of the Seeker when he's in robot mode. Next, we do the same thing for the other side. Take the 1 stud plate and the 2 stud plate and attach them to the hinge piece. And now we hook the apparatus with the ball joint and curve piece so that the curve piece overhangs a little bit. Now it's starting to look like a jet a little bit. Okay, next we're going to take these 2 3 stud plates, 2 2 stud plates, a slope vent piece, and a half slope gray piece. We're going to hook the half slope gray piece to the 2 stud plate. Then we're going to hook it to another gray 2 stud plate. This is going to conceal the face, Starscream's face, in jet mode. Next, we're going to hook that to the red 3 plate. And then take these ball joint pieces that are lengthwise 2, and they have the cup to hold the ball joint. And we're going to hook them, the first stud, to the flat 3er plate. Next, we're going to put the gray 3er plate on top of that. That'll secure those pieces together. Now we slide that piece into the middle of our previously built apparatus and connect it so that the lower gray studs connect to the bottom of those curved pieces that we have hanging over the backs of the hinges. So they go flush with the hinge pieces. Next, we take the dark blue tours and the slope vent. We put the slope vent on the center, and the dark blue tours on the left and right. This breaks up his color scheme, gives him that gray, red, and blue color scheme that Starscream has. And these 2 blue tours hang over the ball joints, so from jet mode you don't see the ball joints as clearly. Next, we're going to work on his thrusters and tail fins, which are also his feet. So here we take a cheese wedge, and we're going to connect it to a regular 2 stud wedge piece, or they're also called roofing slopes. Next, we're going to take the ball joint piece, which is another 2 stud, but this time it's the lengthwise 2 stud and the ball joints on the end of it. We're going to hook that to the bottom of that roof slope piece. Then we're going to take this piece that's stud on top and side, one of these bent pieces, to put the studs on the side, and you can see that the side stud is hollow. We're going to use that hollow stud to cup around that little prong that's in the middle of that ball joint piece. So that way that piece is within the center of it. And finally, we're going to take our thruster, which is a blue cone, and we're going to hook that underneath that piece with the studs on the side. First foot is done. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Cheese slope to roof slope to ball joint to stud on side piece to cone thruster. Now we have 2 legs. Next, we're going to rotate these and clip them into those ball joints on the back of the jet assembly. Now let's build his arms. For this, we have a plate with a hand at the end of it, and it's 2 stud, and it's blue because Starscream had blue arms, well, blue forearms. Then we have also a gray piece with a stud on the side, and those studs are hollow on the side, and so the piece is hollow, so we can actually plug a pin in it. We have these nice little, they look like little guns. They're from probably a Star Wars set, and those are going to be his null rays on the sides of his arms. And then we have two eyepieces that are going to connect his arms to his body, and two grate pieces. We're going to hook the hollow side stud piece to the top of the hand clip piece, giving it his forearm and his bicep. And then the bicep, or the hollow side stud piece, we're going to stick the handle of the gun piece in it. So now you just see the long part, which is his null ray turret. And then we're going to add the eyepiece to the top. And now we're going to hook the grate. To hook the grate, there's a little prong in the middle of the grate. We're going to stick that little prong into the eyepiece. And that way the grate stays in place, and we can affix it to the body. But before that, let's build the other side. So we're going to take the side stud block, attach it to the hand clip block or plate. Then we're going to stick the little gun piece into the hollow side stud, put the eyepiece on, and hook the grate to it. Now we have two arms. Now we're going to flip our full jet assembly upside down, and the other side of the eyepieces are going to attach in the jet assembly right where those round studs were. The other side of the eyepiece will sit in where those round studs are. This gives the arms kind of a sideways upward movement. Once we get both arms in, we're then going to rotate the hands to the side. Now to do this, you want to make sure you move the eyepieces out a little bit in that upward movement, so that way you can rotate the hands, and then you can bring them back down flush with the sides. And we angle the guns forward so they're jet guns. And then we move that out of the way, and let's build the final assembly, which is the wings. So Starscream had gray wings with red stripes on them. It's very hard to do a red stripe on Lego. So we're going to sandwich our wings to give the appearance of a red stripe. So the first thing we'll do is take one of the wings and add the red corner piece. This is a 3-stud plate that goes one way and then turns the other way. We're going to add the quarter circle flat plate to the top of it. That gives it more of a sleek look, shows a little bit of the red line. Now we're going to take the 2-stud gray and add it to the top of that. Next, we're going to take the ball joint cup and add it to the top of the 2-stud red piece. And then stick that on top of the wing piece and the next position up. Now we're going to add the 1-stud red piece and then the 3-stud red piece to the wing. Then we're going to take the little purple piece, which is our Decepticon symbol, and we're going to stick it onto the gray 3 plate. And we're going to put the gray 3 plate on top of the red assembly we had just made. Then we have a half slope that we're going to add on the corner. Gives that wing a little more sleekness as well. And now you can see the red line within the wing, but the wing itself is still gray. Now we're going to build the other one. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to take this wing piece, which is a 4x4 wing piece, and we're going to add that little corner to the front. We're going to add the flat plate. We're going to add the 2-stud gray. We're going to hook the ball joint cup to the red 2-stud piece, and we're going to attach that to the wing. And then we're going to add the 1-stud red, the 3-stud red. We're going to take the 3-stud gray, add that purple piece. It looks like a Decepticon sign. And we're going to add that to the wing. And finally, we're going to top it off with that half slope. So this gives the wing some sleekness, some speed looking. And it also makes it a little chunky to capture that red line design on it. Now we're going to take our 2 wings, and you can see where the cup ends of the ball joint piece are. We're going to hook those onto the ball joints sticking out of our assembly of our jet. And now we have completed Starscream, and he is in jet mode. So, what do we do once we completed a Lego Transformer? We transform them. So to transform Starscream, we're going to set him up on his tail wings, which are his feet. Rotate him around, and as we do, we're going to pull the nose cone down. The nose cone's going to fold down just like the actual toys do for these guys. Then we're going to rotate those tail wings around to make feet. Next, we're going to rotate the wings. Rotate them to the back, and then rotate them upward with the shorter end, and then rotate them forward. And now the wings are facing forward. Then we rotate the hands forward and rotate his null rays forward. And now we have Starscream in robot mode. Congratulations, you've built your second Lego Transformer. This time, Decepticon Starscream. I hope you have enjoyed this How to Build Starscream Build-A-Bot session, and definitely tune in again next time for more exciting episodes of Soundvox Lego Transformers.